Ending a major standoff, President Obama reached a tentative deal with Republicans to extend the Bush-era cuts for 2 years. Now, the compromise will take other steps to boost the economy, cut payroll taxes, extend federal unemployment benefits. Douglas Holtz-Eakin is with us now. He is a former Congressional Budget Office director. He is now the president of the American Action Forum. He is with us on the phone from Washington. Doug, thanks so much for joining us this morning. The compromise on the Bush tax cuts announced, it seems as if it's going to cost between about $600 billion and $800 billion ultimately if it's signed into law. But does this get passed?
I think that's the major question. One of the interesting things about the president's remarks is they struck a fairly partisan tone, which I interpret as him trying to placate his liberal base and make sure this gets through the House of Representatives in particular. So we saw Senate Democrats being noticeably quiet last night. We saw the House Democrats say that they hadn't really seen the details, and I think what we really need to see is whether he's got the votes for this deal.
Doug, about half the measures could be considered stimulus. I mean, they add to the deficit for the next 2 years, but the longer range view is that it will support the recovery. Does what you've heard so far seem to strike the right balance?
Well, I think the timing was the most important thing, to get this deal done and to have the tax cuts extended before the withholding tables get changed and we see people start to get smaller paychecks is an imperative. So that's why one hopes that the House and Senate can move quickly. The remainder of the package, I think it would have been nice to see more of it paid for, the unemployment insurance benefit extension and the like. But on balance, I think it does give the right incentives for the economy, and the deficit reduction issues remain before the Congress beginning next year.
So when do you think are we going to hear more about the deficit reduction? Because there's a lot of deficit hawks out there who wanted to hear more last night.
I think the next big step is when the president puts out his budget in February. We've had lots of commissions report. There's a lot of proposals in the air. The key question is which ones will he choose to lead on and choose to be the centerpiece of getting the budget under control.
Doug, any guess?
I think tax reform has proven to be one of the most popular and surprising elements of these tax reform proposals, of these deficit reduction proposals. I wouldn't be surprised to see that in the budget, but I think the real emphasis should be on the spending side, and there he's not really shown much in the way of his favorites.
Yeah, we didn't really get a complete accounting of all the packages, but one of the things that you've been looking at, you told me, is this payroll tax holiday. You think that's one of the best parts of the plan, right?
Yeah, I think to trade the make-work pay credit, which was really just disguised checks through the tax code, for a reduction in marginal rates on a lot of America's workers was genuinely a step in the right direction. Hopefully we'll get some good economic impact from that.
The business tax breaks, Doug, just one more line here, arguably the most unclear of all the proposals out there. What is the right way to go about this?
I think a better way to go about the business tax part would be to do some of the things that the Bowles-Simpson Commission proposed, cut the corporate rate, move to a territorial tax system, and do that in a permanent way. I'm less enthusiastic about temporary tax breaks for business investment. They don't generally have a great track record.
All right, Doug, thanks as always for the time. Douglas Holtz-Eakin joining us there. He is the American Action Forum president.